Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm reviewing Abba's 1975 album, coincidentally called Abba. This was their third studio album. It reached number 13 in the UK charts here, not doing particularly well in the US, number 174. But what we're starting to see and hear in this album is the real, genuine Abba sound that we've come to know and love. Now, as with most of Abba's early albums, it's a mixed bag of tracks between excellent tracks and one or two ones that are not quite as good. Let's have a look at the booklet itself. There's that familiar front cover. They're toasting themselves in the back of a limousine. And look at this iconic picture. That's kind of gone down in musical history, hasn't it? It says so much there about them, and it's a great illustration to the songs. Now, there's another park picture there. You get some decent liner notes on these little booklets, and some more pictures of them looking pretty relaxed together there. There's a good shot of them off duty, as it were. There's a concert shot there. These are good pictures actually get with these. My only complaint, as before, is with the size of the type, which is really incredibly small if you're advancing in years a little bit. There's some live pictures there. Another shot there, and on the back page we've got a little bit more kind of backstage, or is this in a shop somewhere? They look like they're buying some clothes ready for a performance. If you're familiar with my grading system, you'll know that I mark each track out of 10 consistently, hopefully, throughout all my reviews, and we'll end up with an average mark per track for this album. Now, we're going to start off with track number 1, Mamma Mia. Now, what could I say about this that hasn't been said before? Probably very little, except to tell you that Agneta and Frida take the vocals between them on this one. It became their second number 1 in the United Kingdom and topped the charts in Europe. It means my in Italian. This was a coming together, I think, of all the preparation that had been happening on the first 2 albums. What is this actually about? And there I would raise just a slight question as to what's going on in the lyrics of this song, because this is a woman who's fed up with her cheating husband, but in some way she can't resist him. We're getting a little bit here of this sort of male point of view being then sung by females. That's the only question I would put about this. What it's actually saying about a relationship, what it's actually saying about a cheating husband. That said, we've got to just luxuriate in this fantastic setting that it gets. The Abba sound is there, isn't it? It's complete. The singing is glorious. The part in it when we get to Yes, I've Been Broken Hearted, we get those walking down chords, moving one note down the piano, one tone down the piano. It just sounds fantastic. And there's a succession of hooks throughout this song, which is bravely and confidently sung. They have arrived, haven't they? This is the arrival, if you like, and it's an excellent song, which I'm going to award 8 out of 10. Track number 2 is called Hey, Hey Helen. And again, Agneta and Frida share the vocals on this one. We almost have kind of an ELO type bass to this one. Although this was a new track to me when I listened to it, this one has grown on me quite a lot, actually. Again, let's look at the lyrics here. A woman has left her husband now she's being taunted by her ex-partner, who's trying to make her feel guilty about it. So again, we've got a bit of the male point of view coming through here. The redeeming feature of this song is that it actually arrives at the conclusion that the woman did the right thing to get out of what was possibly an abusive relationship. There is a bit of positivity to this one. Now, the verse is okay on this, but the refrain is really good as well, and I like the way it's been arranged. It's got quite an exciting instrumentation on this one, a bit of kind of glitter rock feel from the 1970s. So I'm happy to say I think this is a good song. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. Now, on the Waterloo album, we had this Sitting in the Palm Tree, which is kind of a reggae tropical style song. which wasn't terribly successful. And we see it again on this album with track number 3, Tropical Loveland. The instrumentation on this is very thin indeed, and this is very much a quirky, deep album cut. My Paradise is Waiting Here for You. This is a woman trying to woo her loved one. Frida takes the vocal on this one. It's fairly catchy, it's inoffensive, but really this one is for die-hard fans only, I think. And I'm going to say it's an average song for Abba, and we'll give this one 4 marks out of 10. Track number 4 is SOS. Now, Robert Scott, in this book here, which I've been reading, describes this as their first truly transcendent classic, and I have got to agree here. Agnete takes the vocal here, and it's her first heartbreaking classic. There's this wonderful feeling of melancholia about this song, combined with this fantastically uplifting setting that it's got. There's a questioning start, a lost love, where have things gone wrong, in a minor key, and then we have this wonderful, glorious refrain in a major key. It's the best track, I think, so far that Abba have recorded. It's the best lyric as well. It's a much more mature lyric than we've had before. And I would say it's a fully developed pop song here with a great lead vocal. The best bit in it, of course, is When You're Gone, How Can I Even Try to Go On? It's a brilliant setting, that bit. Great bass in there. It's moving, it's involving. You've got to sing it and you feel better because you have sung it. So this is a great track here, a brilliant track. I'm going to give it 9 marks out of 10. I'm just keeping that 10 just up my sleeve in case I need it further on. Now, we know these early albums are a little bit uneven, and nowhere is this more dramatically shown than with track number 5, Man in the Middle. Bjorn takes the lead vocal on this. It's got a sort of funky intro, and it's about kind of a middleman who seems to have no conscience. He's got lots of money, but he appears to have no friends. The lyrics are rather naive on this. It's all very simple. It's instantly forgettable, I'm afraid. And after the joys of SOS, we go to a disappointing song, which I can only give 2 marks out of 10. Agnete and Frida are back for track number 6, which is the bizarrely titled Bang a Boomerang, another very Eurovision song. It's got a message of love, and the metaphor here is that the boomerang comes back. I think we all get that. And the message is really, let's make each other happy. There's a bit of dum-de-dum-dum in there. It's a fairly enjoyable refrain on this, but we feel a little bit silly singing along to it. And I think we'll just say this is an average song that ends that first side, and it's 4 out of 10. So if we have a look at the first side then of this Abba album, we've got an 8, 6, 4, 9, 2 and 4. That gives us 33 marks, which is a pretty good score for a side of vinyl from me. Anything over 30, and we're usually saying this is a pretty decent album. Let's move now on to side 2 and the opening track, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do. So Agnete and Frida take the lead vocal on this, which is a kind of a tribute to 1950s band music, orchestral bands. It's got a kind of an old dance hall feeling about the whole thing, especially with the saxophones on there. It's about a lonely woman who declares her love, but again here the man has the power in the relationship. Although it could be the other way around, it doesn't specify, but it could be a woman having power over a man, but of course it's sung by the women, so we get the idea that they are kind of the powerless ones in this situation. The melody is fine and memorable, perhaps lacking the powerful emotion of SOS. It hasn't got that melancholic feel to it. The late key change is quite joyful, and for me it's a very good song and a good start to the second side. I'm giving that 7 out of 10. Now, Bjorn takes the lead for track number 8, Rock Me, which was a very popular one when Abba were playing live. Now, the verse here is a little bit uneven. I would say not quite up to the standards of some of the other ones on this album. And the lyrics are really a bit of nonsense. But it's a contrast to the infectious and fun and musical refrain, which is quite pleasant. So we've got an uneven verse, but quite a pleasurable refrain, which I think would work with people singing along to the track live, but it definitely needs better verses, I think. We've got this kind of growling rock vocal going on, which is quite fun to listen to. Robert Scott in his book here describes it as silly, embarrassing, but terrific fun. And I suppose for that, we'd say it's a fairly good ABBA track without being a classic, and I'm going to give it 5 marks out of 10. Track number 9 is called Intermezzo number 1. And this is a bit of an oddity because it's one of only 2 instrumentals that ABBA recorded, the other one being on Arrival. We've got big arpeggios, rock guitars, classical style pianos. It's all in there. We've got these rather disjointed musical intervals, which remind me a little bit of the musical Jesus Christ Superstar and later on the musical Chess. There's that sort of feeling as well in there. It's quite exciting, actually, this sort of rock opera context. We've got exciting, pulsating rhythms, quite a lot of fun, and a lot of different sounds and instruments used. My only question really with this is, do you actually want to hear it again once you've heard it once? I'm not so sure that you would want to, but despite that, I think it's an average track for ABBA. I'm going to give this one 4 marks out of 10. Now, Agneta is at the microphone for track number 10, I've Been Waiting for You. Amanda Seyfried sings this in the Mamma Mia follow-up film. There's a lovely vocal on the verse here and no other voices. And this is a song of love and adoration, my lonely days are through. And it's more of a plea to be loved. But, of course, it gives the power to the man as well in this. It's the woman singing, she's pleading to be loved by the man. Although, of course, you could sing it the other way round. The refrain is a chorus of voices, which are bright, sharp and vibrant, and I like this a lot. In fact, the chorus is quite enchanting, and it's a feel-good song. You feel better for having listened to this one. So I enjoyed this one. I would say it's a good ABBA song. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. Track number 11 is So Long, and Agneta and Frida are sharing the lead vocals on this, and they seem to be enjoying it with a powerful message. They are angry and they've had enough. Finally, they're hitting back. They're not impressed with this bloke's money. They say, you won't have me tonight. And there's a feeling of sort of underlying anger in this one. And it's quite enjoyable, actually. There's some frantic electric guitars. The mix is not as sharp as I've Been Waiting for You, and the sound I feel is a little bit overloaded on this one. We've got a kind of space age interlude in this, which is certainly worth listening to, and a nice bit of brass at the end. So this is okay, this one. I would say it's a fairly good song to finish with, and I'm going to give this one 5 marks out of 10. If we look at that second side, we see we've got a total of 27 marks for 5 songs. The total album score is 60 marks for 11 tracks, and that gives us an average of 5.45 marks per track. And you can see that things are on an upward trajectory here, if I can say that right. I'll just comment on the 2 bonus tracks you'll find on the CD here. Number 12 is a song called Crazy World, with Bjorn doing the lead vocals here. Now, this is a slightly twee story about a man seeing another man leaving his girlfriend's house. He feels so bad about it, so jealous, and it turns out it's the woman's brother. So it's nice to hear the man having a tough time on an ABBA song, but the whole thing is really rather dull and unexciting, and no wonder it's a bonus track. It's a deep cut, this one. I think we'll give it 2 marks out of 10, and saying we're a little bit disappointed with that. And the CD finishes with a medley of sort of folky songs, Pick a Bale of Cotton, On Top of Old Smokey, and Midnight Special. This is their only release of non-original songs and was originally recorded for a charity album. This is definitely a curiosity, and I think one only for devoted fans. The Agneta and Frida's voices sound okay. On Top of Old Smokey is a pretty awful folk song. The best of the 3 songs is Midnight Special, which perhaps could have been recorded on its own. I'm not really sure what it's about. Let the Midnight Special Shine a Light on Me. Does anybody know what that is? I'm not sure what a Midnight Special is. Anyhow, it's one of those obscure deep cuts, possibly a skip over because of the on top of Old Smokey. Going to give it 2 marks out of 10. Let's now have a look at my rankings of ABBA tracks. And at the top, we've got 2 new entries. SOS, 9 out of 10. Mamma Mia, 8 out of 10. And another one from this album is I Do. That's a 7 out of 10 there. So 3 tracks from this album getting into that top 10 at the moment. This is just from the first 3 albums. Down at the bottom, we do have some more tracks coming in from this album. We've got Man in the Middle, Crazy World and Pick a Bale of Cotton, which I've only given 2 out of 10. Now let's have a look at the album rating so far. We can see there the ABBA album, 5.43 per track. That becomes my top album so far, but only 3 reviewed. Now I thought you'd be interested in this little graph because this shows the songs and the marks I've given them, starting on the left there with 1973 and coming all the way to 1975. And you can see the towers gradually getting higher. It's not an even spread, it's not gradual in a sense, but we are seeing more and more stronger tracks as we move through 1975. And I think that's probably going to continue, but it will be interesting to see what this looks like by the end. So, hope you've enjoyed this review. Subscribe if you want to hear more. Let me know your favourite tracks on this album and the ones perhaps you don't like so much. I'll be back with another ABBA review. I'm moving on to the next album, which is the Arrival album, and I'm back with that very soon. See you soon.